Welcome to today's class. This is going to be our virtual, it is scheduled, food needs versus food wants. We greatly appreciate any of you who are able to join us today on these winter weather days we're having right now. I'm Kelly Corner. I'm the health educator with Second Act program. We have our manager, Tracy Heron, with us today. Thank you, Tracy. I so appreciate your technical skills with all of this. Um, and we also have our speaker. Today, we do want to welcome anyone who's new and trying this for the first time. Hope all is going well. Um, we are trying to do as much as we can. If you're coming through our link on Facebook or whatever it happens to be, you will be able to scroll down below our presentation today and click into writing any notes you have, any questions or comments you have. We'd greatly appreciate those. So feel free to send that in. We do have some upcoming virtual classes, so we're not doing just nothing in February because we can't be in person here in the first 2 or 3 weeks. We have changed the presentation on preventing heart attacks, which is next Wednesday at noon, to a virtual class. So we will still have Dr. Mercer with us and doing that one. In the following Wednesday, we have our regularly scheduled soup, a nutritionally packed meal, and that'll be a virtual. So there's a couple things coming in the next couple of weeks. So bear with us as we work through that. Um, if you do have any questions, remember to call our 877 number, 480-4040. We'll help you get things straightened out with Millie if you need some information and or get you registered for upcoming classes and activities we have. We do have a prize going out to someone who registered today, so we greatly appreciate those who went through our scheduling online and or called in. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to remember right now. I think we've covered it. I think we're ready. Today we are very fortunate. We have Ashley Gilmour with us. You have sort of kind of heard from Ashley in the past. She and Robin had worked together, and now we're very excited to have her doing the program today on her own and making it all happen. We're all in our homes and we're going to do the presentation. And Ashley is through the University of Illinois Extension, and she is in nutrition education. So we really appreciate it today, Ashley. I am thrilled you're a trooper and you can make this happen from home. So I'm going to give you the floor. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. I really enjoy getting to talk to you guys. Today, we're going to be talking about knowing the difference between food needs and wants and how that can have a lot of impact when we're at the grocery store. It can be expensive going to get groceries, even more so now. It seems like every time I go to the grocery store, something I've bought before is more than the last time I went. And so it can have a lot of impact on our budget, but it also can have a lot of impact on our nutrition. So we're going to kind of go through that. We're going to talk about some strategies and how we can maybe make better choices at the grocery store, some tips on how to save money, all that good stuff. And there'll be an opportunity at the end to answer any questions. So if you hear me talking about something and maybe you'd like a little more clarification, just make sure to jot that down or keep that in mind and then just ask at the end. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And obviously, when we talk about the difference between needs and wants, we're talking about prioritizing those things that we have to have, or things that we know that we're going to have to buy every month. And then our wants is going to be things that we probably don't have to have, but we would like to have. So we're going to put that into context of food and buying groceries for this class. So I really liked this visual. I think this is a good kind of summary of it. Our needs are going to be those healthy foods. Those are going to be things that we're going to get like our vitamins and minerals and our nutrients in that are going to help our bodies function better. Apples, bananas. Some people might even be eggs, flour, stuff like that, water. And then our wants, it's going to be the junk food, the candies, the marshmallows, the Pringles. And when I look at the difference between the two of these, I think impulse buys in the the category. Those are going to be things that I go to the grocery store and I see them and I think I need them, but I don't. So that's going to be the difference between our needs and our wants. And the important thing to keep in mind when we're trying to distinguish between the two is to make sure that we know the difference. Maybe be kind of conscientious of the fact that maybe something that I think I have isn't have need of isn't something that I need. Also, we're going to make sure that we get those needs prioritized first. And this is something that we already do, right? We go, we pay our rent, we pay our electric bill. Those are things that we take care of before we go out and we buy a new purse or a new fishing pole or whatever. But we also we want to make sure that we're doing that with our food purchases too, because some junk food is really expensive too. It's not even just the nutrition aspect of it, but I may not have the money left over to buy fruits and vegetables if I've filled my entire grocery cart up with yeah, cheese puffs and potato chips. We also want to think long term, both in terms of our budget and our nutrition. It might be cheaper to get a bag of off brand chips than to go fill up my grocery cart with apples. But in the long term, I'm going to pay more for the health complications that eating a bunch of stuff like that's going to bring. So we want to kind of just keep all of that in mind. We want to maybe utilize some of the strategies that we've talked about in classes past, you know, shopping sale ads, using coupons and stuff like that. And we kind of want to make the decision that's best for us based off all of that information. And then finally, we're going to talk a little bit more about this. This is something that we all know that we should be doing, but making a good plan or a good strategy when we go to the grocery store. So we're going to expand on all of this a little bit. All right. So the first thing that we want to think about is when we go to the grocery store, this is kind of obvious, but it's not something that we stop and think about. But the longer we spend in the grocery store, the more money that we're going to spend. And this is kind of obvious when you sit and think about it, because the longer that I'm going through the grocery store aisles, I'm going to find more impulse buys. I'm going to find things that aren't necessarily on my list, and I'm going to fill up my grocery cart with it. So it's important to kind of keep our grocery store visits as brief as we can, so that we're not spending more money. And another thing that we want to know, oh, hang on, I'm sorry, my computer's acted out. Okay. And the other thing that we want to keep in mind is that when we are in the grocery store, we want to kind of stick to the outer aisles. And we also want to make sure that we're kind of staying away from the junk food aisles, because the more that you go inward to the grocery store, the more money that you're going to spend. All right. So, something to keep in mind too when we're talking about this is a food that is a want for one person might be a need for someone else. This is because all of us have different dietary needs. We have different goals for nutrition. A diabetic is going to have things that are a need that someone normally isn't. And so we want to take that into consideration, and we want to make sure that we're considering everyone in our household when we're doing this. Some basic food needs can become food wants when they're a product such as convenient foods. So someone who doesn't have a lot of time, their food needs might be faster prep meals than someone who has a lot of downtime. So we want to take that into consideration when we're doing this too. So on this screen here, you can see kind of a general guide of food needs and wants. This handout has kind of got the food needs listed on the left side. These are the healthy foods that are going to provide us with a lot of protein, vitamins, and minerals, which we've kind of talked about in a little bit earlier. And then the food wants are going to be the things that are going to be more expensive. So like buying my fruits, maybe buying like a platter instead of buying like a can of fruit or a bag of frozen fruit. That's going to be a lot more expensive. But if you don't have time to buy fruit, this might be a need for you because you may not have the time to prep it. Also, pre-chopped vegetables versus buying vegetables in season. Vegetables in season are going to be a lot cheaper than buying, again, like a platter or something like that. All right, so I've got a short video I'm going to show you. Do you guys see the screen? Okay, do you see like a black screen? Okay, let me see and make sure the audio is turned on real quick. Okay, we're going to watch a short video kind of going over what we just talked about. So here we go.
Check sale ads before you go shopping to plan meals based on protein items that are on sale. For example, if chicken breasts are on sale this week, bake them and serve them with your favorite vegetable. The leftover chicken can be eaten on top of a bed of fresh lettuce for a healthy lunch. Canned meats, such as chicken or tuna, beans, peanut butter, and eggs are also great protein choices to try at home. They can often be a cheaper option as well.
All right. So we want to kind of keep in mind, we want to keep in mind our budget. We want to kind of keep in mind long-term implications of buying foods. We want to kind of keep in mind all of the people in our households, and we also want to kind of employ strategies to make our grocery shopping as inexpensive as we can. So normally, whenever I'm in a live class, I will write these out as we go. But I want you guys just to kind of reflect on what you buy currently. What are some of the food needs that you have in your house, taking all of those things into consideration? I would say for my family, one of our food needs are going to be bananas. That's because we are on the go a lot. And my kids, I want to make sure to prioritize them having some easy, accessible fruit that they can just grab and I don't have to like chop up. So that would be a need in our house. What about you girls? Do you have any food needs that come to mind?
Lettuce usually. I mean, it's always easy to whip up a salad at some point in time. So I like having the lettuce and then some different veggies to go in there.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I would say in my world, um, my husband and my daughter both like berries. So generally, if I can grab a raspberry or a blackberry, that's something that they will directly just nibble on, and I don't have to prep any work for them. So I tend to find those whenever they're on sale for them.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one too. Yeah, and again, like I said earlier, this is going to be different for every household. Um, and sometimes it's going to look a lot different than somebody else's. But we just want to kind of keep that in mind because these should be the first things that we're putting on our grocery list. When we're making a list to go to the store, we want to make sure to put these first. So these are going to be our highest priority items. Okay, now let's think about our food wants. What are things that we maybe buy regularly that we don't need? And I'll go first. Mine is probably not even a grocery store. Mine's probably drinking too much coffee, going through a drive-through. I drink way too much coffee. So that would be my food want. I could probably cut down on how much of that I drink.
Yeah, for me, it is probably potato chips and the French onion dip, the Prairie Farms French onion dip. Yes, that's my favorite in the world.
Yeah, yeah, I can understand that.
Oh, in all honesty, mine would be ice cream. That's got to be it. There's so many flavors, so many options. It's definitely ice cream that I struggle with.
Yeah. Yeah, and so those are the things that come to our mind right away because all of us know what our food wants are, don't we? We know the things that we probably don't need. And when I think about the holidays, because we're just coming off of like Thanksgiving, Christmas, I'm gonna think that sometimes my food wants are maybe things that I bought that were easier to prepare. So like my turkey, I bought the one that had already had like all the gizzards and all of the stuff removed just because it was going to save me some time. So sometimes it's not even unhealthy things that can be like our food wants. It can just be the things that maybe we pay a little bit more for. And so maybe we want to keep in mind that sometimes if our budget's looking a little tight, maybe we could spend a little bit more time prepping our food. All right. So I know that if you have tuned in and you've seen me and Robin before, we have probably talked about My Plate to death to you. But just a reminder, My Plate is a really good resource for helping us um, making a better grocery list that encompasses our food needs versus our wants. That's because this is just a guide. I'm not going to be able to rationalize a candy bar anywhere on this guide because it does not fit any of the nutritional components that I need for my health. So this is just a good guide. This is a good reminder that we need to be getting a variety. I went in and I was talking to my kindergarten, first and second graders about this the other day, and I asked them, I said, a banana, if I just sit down and eat bananas all day long, am I going to be healthy? And I was really proud of my little kiddos because they said no. And that's true. And we don't think about that sometimes as an adult. Sometimes it feels like, oh, I'm eating healthy. But if I'm not getting any vegetables, I'm not getting any protein in my diet, I'm missing vital nutrients that my body needs to process. And it's going to affect my health in the long term. So we want to make sure that we're not just eating fruits. We're not just eating vegetables. We want to make sure that we're getting a little bit from each of these in our diet. And looking at this, it helps us keep that in mind when we're making out our list to go to the grocery store. It also helps us make sure that we're maybe making healthier choices. Also, you see down there it says choosemyplate.gov. This website is a really good resource. It's got some information on it, and it's got some tips to help eating healthier too. So if you have time and you're maybe thinking about this would be a good place to go to check out some more about this information. All right, and this is just an interesting fact. So even though the dietary guidelines for Americans is to make half of your plate fruits and vegetables, only 1 in 10 Americans is meeting that recommendation. So this is information a lot of us know, but not a lot of us are doing. And so we want to kind of make it a priority, especially, with like our immune system. Vitamins and minerals give us a stronger immune system. It helps us fight off illness better. It reduces our risk of, heart complications, and there's just a lot of good reasons to be doing it. So there's a lot of us that are struggling with it, and if you are struggling, you are not alone. It is the vast majority of Americans, but we just want to kind of make this a priority. All right. So this is just some thoughts kind of further expanding on what we've talked about. These are some kind of tips about how we can kind of work on maybe focusing more on our needs instead of our wants. The first thing we want to do is we want to take time to plan healthy meals that can help you stick to a healthy eating style. If you're new to planning meals, start with one of these tips and work up for more. So the tips that we've already talked about, maybe just start utilizing one of those and then kind of move forward. And that's just because if I decide that I'm going to start eating healthy and I try to change, 15 different things, I'm going to get overwhelmed. So starting with one thing is going to make sure that we have a better chance of success. The other thing we want to do is we want to be intentional about our meal planning. Again, impulse buying and impulse cooking, we're probably not going to make as good a decision. So we can start by outlining our meals that we plan to eat for the week and using it as a guide. We also want to make sure that we're listing beverages and snacks too. I know some people, they'll go to the grocery store and they'll buy like carrot sticks and apples, and they'll maybe slice those up or cut them up or wash them and prep them, and they'll stick them in baggies in their fridge. And this just helps them to not have to buy like the fruit platters and spend a lot of money, but still be able to snack healthy. And then another thing we want to keep in mind, like we talked about with the My Plate, is we're going to kind of find a balance. So if you have veggies, dairy, and protein at one meal, include fruit and grains in the next meal to cover it up. It's going to be easier for us to do that if we've made like a meal plan for the day, because we can kind of look at it and go, okay, I had a lot of grains for breakfast. I had some veggies at lunch, but I've not had any fruit today. So I need to maybe grab a banana, grab an apple, something like that as a snack, or incorporate that somehow into supper. So whenever we're kind of planning our meals, we get a better picture of what we're actually consuming. All right. Another few tips that we want to do is choose different protein foods through the week. For example, if you have chicken one day, try seafoods, beans, lean meats, or eggs on other days, just to get a variety in your diet. I know that I have talked to death about this, but again, make a grocery list. Start with those needs at the top, put the wants at the bottom. If you look and you realize you spent too much money, maybe kind of condense the wants a little bit and put some of them back. And then this is something that I am a firm believer of in my house. Love your leftovers. I will make a larger quantity of something, especially if I am busy that week. And me and my family will eat on those leftovers 2 or 3 times. Or if we're going to be busy that week, we're not going to have time to get to the leftovers, I will stick it in the freezer. I've got a special section in my freezer full of gallon Ziploc baggies full of different crock-pot meals and stuff like that that we can eat whenever we're on the go. And this is good for helping reduce impulse fast food eating or buying out at restaurants, because if I don't have time to cook, I'm going to be less tempted to go to a restaurant if I can just go grab something out of the freezer and stick it in. And this can save a lot of money. I'm a family of 4. It can cost us anywhere from $40 to $50 to go out to eat. It can be really expensive versus, something that I've made at home, I might have spent $10 on. So it can save a lot of money. It's better for us. It's got, more nutrients in it. That stuff I've made at home. So that's just a good reason to do it. All right. Another thing we want to do, and I was just talking about this with my husband last night, Before going to the grocery store, get organized. Look in your freezer, cabinets, refrigerator. I am so guilty of this. Sometimes I do not look to see what I have. I come home and I've bought something I already have. That's money I didn't need to spend. And then sometimes I get myself in a bind because I end up with more of it and it expires before I can use it. So, having our cabinets organized where we can clearly see what we have is a really great way to cut down on this. Actually, what we just did a couple months ago, is I went and got cheap bookshelves. They're like $15 at Walmart or at another large store, or you could even go to like a rummage sale and get some storage. And we organized our pantry. We have a big closet. I organized that so that I could see everything, so that when I go in the grocery store or when I'm going to the grocery store, I have a clear visual of what I have, so stuff doesn't get shoved in the back and I can't see it anymore. So keeping your pantries organized where everything is visible so you don't buy more can save you a lot. Another thing, like I think I talked about this a minute ago, but think about your schedule. Kind of plan your meals around your schedule. So, if I've got 5 crock pot meals in the freezer and I know I'm going to be busy on Thursday, maybe already have it in your mind. That's what you're going to do. That way you're more likely to do it. Another thing that you can do, I know some people sometimes are concerned about buying fresh produce because it can be expensive and it can go bad. And I completely understand that. If you have freezer space, buying the frozen vegetables, it can be a lot cheaper, and those vegetables can sit in your freezer longer. So you're less likely for them to be wasteful. They're also not going to have extra sauces, and then like the fruit, they're not going to have like the extra heavy syrup and stuff like that in them. So they might even be a little bit better for you than buying like the canned. They also, what's really good about these is the frozen ones. They're really easy just to like rip the bag open and put them in a crock pot. There's no prep needed versus me buying fresh. So if you have the freezer space, frozen is a really good option for fruits and vegetables. All right, another tip, and I think this is something a lot of us know, lower mealing costs, buying the family size or value pack option. A lot of grocery stores, if you look below the food, they've got a label that says how much it is, but over there there's like a little orange corner, it'll tell you how much that is per ounce. If you pay attention to that, sometimes just glancing at that sticker can save you a lot of money, because packages can be deceiving. There might be two bags that look like they have the exact same ounces in them, and they might be similar in price, but one of them might actually be more ounces per cent that you're spending. So pay attention to those little labels that show how much you're paying per ounce. And if you have the freezer space, buying in bulk, it's going to save you a lot of money overall. Another thing, eggs. Eggs are really versatile. This is something that if your budget's really tight, buying a package of eggs can go a long way. You can boil them, you can put them in recipes and stuff like that. And if your eggs are getting ready to go out, you can even freeze them and still use them to bake with. I did this back in 2020 when there was a lot of shortages in my area. I froze a lot of my eggs and used them again in baking, and they still held up. So eggs are a great option for low costs. And then we also want to check the sell by date when we're buying the freshest products. A lot of grocery stores will put the freshest item in the very back. So like those long lines of milk, like the glass doors. If you look in the back, the sale by date may even be a week or two different. So paying attention to the dates on all the products you're putting in the cart can save you a lot of money too. All right. And when we normally have classes like this is kind of a game that we play together, but we're just kind of look over it and reflect it. So this is our food needs and wants game. So we're going to imagine that we have $12. So it's a one bean for each dollar. And we're going to try to figure out which foods would be the best to prioritize. Now there's 2 slides. So we're going to look over both of them and kind of in your mind think, if I only had $12 and each of these indicate $1, what would be the best things for me to buy? So for example, the steak would take 3 of my beans. The meat on sale would take 2. So what would be your guys' pick? I think for the protein, mine would probably be the canned beans, because you can substitute beans in a lot of recipes and still make it taste really good.
I'm usually on a whole chicken
Whole chicken, and whole chicken
because,
a long
oh, go
time.
ahead.
Yeah, they do. They last a long time.
Well, and I can do many things with it because we can't eat a whole chicken, but I can cook it in a variety of ways and get several meals out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely be with you with the dried or the canned beans. So many ways you can use that. Right now, you can have a bean chili. You don't have to have a lot of meat in it. Or, you can make any kind of bean soups, and they go a lot further. So that's a great protein source.
They do, and they're a lot less expensive. Sometimes on taco night at my house, we'll use beans instead of a hamburger meat too. Ah, okay. All right, and then on this slide, we've got vegetables and we've got grains. So I think the vegetables, I try to buy vegetables that are in season or the frozen. So that's probably what I would stick to.
Yeah, we probably do the top two in our house, I would say. The mostly canned vegetables and vegetables on sale.
Yeah, I definitely do what's on sale and what's in season at the time.
Mhm.
And we're actually going to be offering a class next month using root vegetables. So that would be currently what's in season and making something with those.
Yeah, those are all really great. All right. So I'm going to be sending you guys a take-home tips. This is just some further tips about what we talked about. I have also got some information about our Eat, Move, Save website. We're going to look at a recipe here in a second. University of Illinois Extension has spent a lot of time making an Eat, Move, Save website. We've got a lot of healthy recipe ideas on here. There's some movement, exercise ideas, and there's also some smart shopping tips to help save you money. One of the recipes that you're going to find on that Eat, Move, Save website is the one that we're going to watch here real quick. And this is just an easy crock pot meal you can make during the week. So here we go.
Hi, I'm Lacey, and today I'm going to share a healthy recipe packed with protein. Follow along as we make a quick spinach, white bean, and sausage stew. To prepare for this recipe, run a 10-ounce package of fresh spinach leaves under cold running water. Slice 12 ounces of turkey or chicken sausage into 1/4 inch rounds. Dice 1 medium onion. Dice 4 medium Roma tomatoes, which equals about a cup. Now heat 1 tablespoon of olive oil in a large pot over medium heat. Add sliced sausage to the pot and cook until lightly brown. Add diced onions and saute until softened, about 3 minutes. Pour in 2 cups of no salt added chicken broth. Using a wooden spoon, scrape any brown bits off the bottom of the pan. Stir in 3 garlic cloves, minced, or 1½ teaspoons of garlic powder, 2 pans, 4 to 15 ounces each, of reduced sodium cannellini beans. Great Northern or navy beans can be used as a substitute. And add our diced tomatoes. Bring your stew to a boil, then reduce heat to a simmer. Add ½ teaspoon of dried oregano, 1 teaspoon dried rosemary, and a 10-ounce package of fresh spinach leaves. Leaves are wilted. Season with salt and pepper to taste and serve. And here's our finished product. This is a quick and easy stew your family's sure to love.
All right. So, like I said before, this is something that you could prep and then you could kind of let it simmer in the crock pot if you were going to be pretty reasonably priced. And it's a pretty easy prep meal. So, this is one of the recipes you can find on our Eat, Move, Save website. Oh, goodness, I left it. Here we go. All right. You can access that Eat Move Save website by just typing in Eat Move Save in a web browser, or you can take your camera on your phone and you can scan that little QR code in the yellow box over here on the right. On the Eat, Move, Save website, you're going to find our Healthy Text program. This is a program that's just going to send 1 to 2 healthy text messages to your phone every week with new recipe ideas and some ways to save money, and then local event information. So University of Illinois, we have a lot of programs that we're doing in local communities. You can find information about those programs through this text program as well. So you can access that by going to the link at the bottom, or you can scan this QR code with your phone. Also on the website is the Find Food Illinois app. This is a place where you can type in your zip code. It's going to give you all the food pantries, school and summer meal sites, grocery stores that take SNAP benefits, farmers markets, senior food resources, and then information about your local SNAP and WIC offices. All you do is click the Find Food Illinois link on the Eat, Move, Save website. Like I said, type in your zip code and it'll give you a map of all this information. All right, that's all I have. Is there any questions?
Thanks a lot, Ashley. I was going to ask about, I think what gets in people's way sometimes is when you were talking about planning. And, a good plan always has a better outcome at the end, right? But it's the hard part is like doing the planning. Do you have any like tips and tricks for building that plan, or one sheet planners or something? What kind of tools are out there to help you plan a meal?
There's a lot of free resources if you go online and you type in meal planning, PDF or something like that. There's a lot of different resources that'll come out. I honestly just use a lined paper, and I sit down and I kind of think about what I have on hand currently in my pantries. And then what, I look at my schedule and how busy I'm going to be, and I just kind of make a plan for the week. And then I take that paper to the grocery store, is how I do mine. I think everybody has a different strategy, don't they?
I really think they do. Raising 5 kids, I used to have sitting on my refrigerator was the layout of the grocery store we would go to, and it would list, if we're going down aisle such and such, what are we missing? And so if the kids used the last of, the peas that were in a can, they could check that. So I knew the next time I went shopping, I had to go down that aisle and get those items. And you're right, marketing has it to where the more you're in the store, the more you're going to buy. And I really liked your comment about getting in and getting out. Go where you need to go. Don't hit any lanes that are excessive, because you never know what you're going to find on those end caps. And you never know who's going to go with you and say, but I want, and you can't have everything you want. But that would always help me. So like you said, if you don't have the time to sit there and look through the freezer and everything else, have a listing of what you've used so you know what you need to replace. And then you'll always have the stewed tomatoes or the tomato paste or whatever beans it is to make your chili at this time of year. Someone did make a comment to us about shopping, and it was something about going the perimeter first. I have heard that. Is that one of the recommendations?
Yes. Yes, it is. Absolutely. A lot of your junk food is going to be in the inner aisles. It's also going to be in line with your eyes. It's going to be right there in the center because they want you to buy the impulse buys. It's going to be right there in front of your face. So
And I think it helps us mentally to realize they're setting us up. Don't give in to them. And maybe that'll help a few of us go, well, I'm not going to buy that just because you stuck it right there in my face.
And I don't know if this is every grocery store or if it's just in my area, but I have noticed recently that normally the off brand that's less expensive and the name brand were side by side. My grocery stores have been moving them. So I might look and see, like green beans, I might see like the expensive brand like right in front of my eyes, and then I have to hunt for the off brand. So don't just buy it if it looks like it's sitting by itself. Kind of maybe check around it first because they've been playing playing hide and seek with them in my area.
Do you have any tips for like coupon clippers or um, resources where you can get discounts? I know I saw the one she was looking at the flyer, the weekly flyer for the store. Any other tips around that?
Online, there's a lot of couponing websites that you can go to where they will show you what's on sale at your local store. And then they will show you the coupons that you can clip. One of the ones that I have used personally in the past is Crazy Coupon Lady. If you go on that website and you look for Walmart, it'll show you what the ad specials are for Walmart, and then it'll link you to the manufacturer coupons. So maybe looking online, and also a lot of store apps like on your phone will have store coupons. So like Kroger, stuff like that. If you go on there, you can find store coupons too.
I use some of the Kroger apps here lately. I've been noticing they have a lot of their organic items as coupon clippers, and I'm like, well, baseline organic is going to be more expensive anyways, like, and so then I'm not a big organic user, and that's fine if some are, but I was like, well, where's the kind of stuff that I want to use?
Yeah,
The
yeah, and the organic
non-organic
is
things.
expensive, isn't it? It is. It's
Yeah.
expensive.
It can be very, very expensive. And I liked the comment, and I want to go back to that, where you said when you get on the website that you guys have, that there is a location finder for farmers markets and for various food pantries, and really encourage people to check out what's there. The food pantries in the area are amazing, and we cover a very large area. So, if you're not utilizing that source, you really should check out what is available on those sites and when they're going to be open to the public or when you can drive through, depending on what our COVID numbers are right now. That is very helpful. And once you get that, then be able to do your grocery shopping planning, because now you have some of the basic items to work with.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, and specifically right now with COVID, there has been a lot of emergency food funds released. And so if you go on the Eat, Move, Save website and you apply for that text messaging program that I talked about, it's going to send you alerts when there's like pop-up food pantries in your area too, like places that are doing like 1 day only boxes or something like that. You should get a text alert. So you can sign up for that Healthy Text program to get information about pop-up pantries as well. But yeah, those food pantry lists are current. They are renewed annually. So yeah, it's a really good resource.
Very good.
Wonderful. And there are some, and I'm not sure where in our area, but that wasn't mentioned, that popped up on my screen, information that they have like Wheels on Meals for seniors. Some of those are running. Do you have any information on that they can access, Ashley?
So senior food resources are going to be on that Find Food Illinois app. Your information for your area should pop up. And then the Healthy Text programming is going to do it. Also, if you have any questions about that, you can find your local University of Illinois Extension office, and you can call and ask to speak to the SNAP program, and they will have all that information. Community workers like me, there's some other PSC workers. They're all going to have all of that current information for your area. So if you have any questions, you are more than welcome to contact that extension and we'll hook you up.
Any other questions, Tracy, that you have for Ashley? Oh, I think you're muted, Tracy.
There I go, the
Thank
dog on
you.
mute. I can't think I have any more. I said I have any more questions other than just for myself. And boy, I wish there was some trigger or something that would help me control my wants, you know. I need an epiphany or something to make sure I remember to leave some things alone. You know, I finally did it with like drinking sugary soda. I don't do that anymore after putting 12 teaspoons of sugar in a 12-ounce cup one time and realizing, oh my gosh, that's a lot. You know, so I don't do that anymore. And I need that I need some kind of click
And
to help
I
me.
don't think I mentioned this, but I think this is something everyone knows too, is not to go to the grocery store hungry, but also to make sure you don't take your children hungry.
Yes.
Because they're going to
Oh,
be
that's
more prone to throw things in the basket as well.
Yes. Yes.
absolutely. I also
Absolutely.
I also think of just like other things we've tried to do here and I think I'm, you know, born and raised around here and it's been about meat and potatoes. It's kind of, we think about the meat first and centering everything around the meat. And sometimes I try to deliberately try to reverse that thinking and say, how about I think about the fruits and vegetables first and then I pair it with the meat, you know, and help me do my half plate.
I
Yeah.
think we need to go back to, you know, the women in the 50s and 60s who did a meal plan, and they did a lot of what we're trying to tell people to do. Figure out how many ounces per person you need to buy, and then how many ounces will be left for that next meal you're going to make. And they were very good planners. They thought things through, and they knew what they had in their pantries. And I think we have gotten, you know, 2, 3 generations now of fast food, quick, easy fixes. No one's in the house. We're gone all day long. We've gotten out of that routine of thinking it through and planning it and realizing how important it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
That's all I have.
All right. Any last comments for us, Ashley?
No, just thank you so much for having me again. I really enjoy talking to you guys. So
Oh, we so appreciate it. And those videos were great you inserted today. I think that I'll have to go back through and watch a couple of those. Such a great idea. We do want to thank you so much for joining us today. We want to thank anyone who's viewing with us. Be aware we'll send out a little gift to someone who registered as an appreciation. We can't see you face to face, but we do really appreciate you being with us. And we just look forward to continuing working with you know, U of I and getting you guys to present for us and share those resources. That really makes a big difference. I really appreciate it.
well, thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.